Hello everyone, Kenty Tiger here, back in Space Engineers. Of course, I'm with Bengali Engineering and Play. Sorry, got my whole intro spiel all messed up there. So we are back in Space Engineers, playing in the Enginerds world. So gotta love that name, Enginerds. Um, and I am cleaning up. So I'm just really going through and trying to get these certain little areas, and I'm trying to do that without damaging anything. So I have actually, unfortunately, damaged some of the station there, but recovered, thankfully. So what I'm doing here is just trying to really kind of machine down this whole area. All right. So here's the area behind, uh, which is really to say this area behind this. And so what I've really been trying to do is kind of shave all this down um, to the point of this all being open, even, and not in the way of anything. And I think I've just about got that accomplished. The biggest task in all of this was to do it in such a way that I wasn't leaving these little tiny voxel pieces in the way, which ultimately you're gonna run into them and destroy something. So that was really the idea that I wanted to accomplish. So we're gonna do one more pass here at the bizarre angle, just to take all this down. The other thing I put in here, which I'm not going to be able to show you for a second, let me finish this mining run here, and then we'll actually demonstrate that for you. It's a neat, nifty little device that I actually built one like it long ago, that I called it the black hole collector. And this is similar to that in that it uses a spherical generator, spherical gravity generator, at the center of a it's a 3 by 3 by 3 grid of collectors, and so it's really a 5 by 5 by 5 box, because it's got armor on the corners. All right, so the good news here is we have, go ahead and turn the drills off here. So this is the top of the box here, and then the corner of the box, and it's plenty wide enough for. So this is the collector down here. So the idea here is that we've cleaned out everything we needed to clean out, and I'm going to come to a halt here, and we'll show you this thing down here. So what I did. So originally this was connected right back here. In fact, it was connected on here. This was the original mount point for this refinery, which was the first one. So this was the first of the station refineries, and then this one was merged onto it, which was actually the ship that I arrived here in. So this refinery is part of that. And there were several iterations that made all this work, but eventually I made it so all these connected, and then I put two back to back. And I'm gonna redo some of this, because what I want this to do right now, this is an even number across, and the problem with Space Engineers is it's most of the blocks are designed around an uneven number of blocks. So the refineries are the exception. Yeah, in fact, the assemblers. So anything that's a 1 by 1 by 2 obviously is an exception, but it is a 1, so it is an odd. Whereas the refineries are a 2 by 2 by 4, so it's an even number, which make them really hard to place. You kind of have to design everything in. So what I want to do here is design and make this. So this is a 6 wide, and I want to make it a 7 wide. And the way I'm going to do that is basically I'm going to delete, grind down these ones on the outside, and we're going to put a row of something in the middle. It may even be, I'll put armor, and you can actually walk inside the ship. So the question was, do I want this to be like a static processing barge that I can move around, and then I have to build a tug for it to hook it in, and that is a possibility. I'm actually considering that. Or do I build a vessel around this, which is to say, do I put gyros and propulsion onto this and make it into a vessel? And that's another possibility as well. I kind of like that idea because then your entire processing plant becomes mobile. You can move it anywhere you want. You don't have to go to it. It can go to wherever the materials are. Anyway, detachment point. So reattached down here. Let me go ahead and show you what that's looking like here. So moved it into silicon. Why did I move it this far down? It was kind of arbitrary. I just wanted the connection point out of the way. Then I got to thinking, okay, I'm doing a lot of stuff by hand. And the problem with drilling by hand is that you end up with materials that are just floating everywhere. And one of the ways to deal with the floating everywhere kind of a thing is to use this concept. So you see we have 3. This one actually has a hole out it with a conveyor sorter. So 3, 3, 3. There's 3 on the top. There's 3 on the back side here. Bang, bounce off the wall here. You see these 9. So 3 by 3 on 6 sides. So it's a 5 by 5 by 5 grid. In the very center of it is the spherical generator, which is pulling in. And then I have this one hole where it is pulling out. So the idea here was, while I was working by hand, this became a very convenient way to collect all the material. Excuse me. Collect all the material without being incredibly burdensome to any other, having to turn around and collect things. So what I've also been doing is using this as a convenient methodology to empty out my little miner here. So what I'm doing is getting out of the way, and I'm being a transfer. To show you kind of how this is working, I push this out here, and it goes screaming over. You can kind of see it in the bottom right-hand portion of the screen here. So watch. I'm going to move this portion. I'm going to dump it. It's going to go straight away from me because of that gravity generator, and then out. So this does take a little while because obviously I don't have a very large inventory. The drills will push out all of the material in them to the closest storage something. And in this case, the only storage something happens to be the connector. So it won't inherently push apparently into a cockpit, but it will push everywhere else. So the good news is we've collected a lot of ice. The vast majority of this asteroid is iron and silicon. So there's a boatload of silicon here, more iron than silicon, of course, but there is still an incredible amount of silicon here. All right, so that is pretty much it. And to prove, so here's the connector, which is on the back, which is what I'm touching. We have drill 1, drill 2, and the cockpit, which is empty. Having said all that, curious as to what this, I guess it's just reflection. So as you can see, there's an awful lot of silicon. All this black is silicon, and then everything up top here is iron, and the same thing across the way. So one of the things I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go ahead and park the miner because I'm mostly done at the moment with this. So what I want to do here is bring the miner up, level her out, come up, rotate around. I'm going to go to 4, which is the aft camera. Oops. Again, gotta learn how to fly again. We're going to go down, and then I have to go to starboard. Which is up. All right. So I'm aiming. Whoops. I'm aiming for that, and my mouse is moving on its own. The cable is a little tighter, and then I'm gonna come back. The cable on my mouse. I have a wired mouse. All right. So coming back slowly, which will hopefully connect in. Bink. All right. So floodlights off, antenna off, and number 5 locked. Now, the miner is empty now. T and T, and a third T to get out of it. Having unloaded a whole bunch of stuff here, I'm going to do a Control B, which will be a station save. Because I'm in somebody else's world, I can't actually save the game. So if I crash, then I crash. One of the things that has been happening behind the scenes here is this miner is being completed slowly. Now the hang up here, there were 2 hang ups: batteries and which actually I can solve the battery thing. Okay. Oh, that was supposed to be an inventory. And uranium. So 556. So there are 4 reactors on the miner there. So what I want to do is take 400, whoa, not 4,000, uranium, and what we're going to do is actually light off these reactors. So all of these things are complete. Of course, we have the projection turned on. As far as I know, the projector is actually done. So I don't believe that there are any more blocks that are actually being projected. I think they are all constructed from the perspective of they're there. So what I think I'm going to do here, so there's the large ship grid. So build progress 280 of 280. So all of the blocks have been projected and the base model completed. So they are in the world. The blocks may have to be completed, which is to say they have to be, up to 100%. But they're projected in the world and they actually exist. So it's not a projection, it's an actual block. So this is good news. At this point, I'm going to turn this off. Because a projection over, and there's a couple reasons for that. A projection over things like connector, any block that you can interact with is kind of a pain in the kind of a pain in the butt. Let me turn on the we're at 40.47. So this connector is my link into the world here. In fact, I'm gonna do one more thing, one more dastardly thing. Yeah, this 0.47 is wow. So off. We're gonna take our elite grinder and actually grind. Oh, no, I'm not. So because I'm semi-disconnected from the universe here, I am not able to continue. Oh. So I've noticed this a couple times. If you look up the simulation speed up here, so it claims that the server is still running at full speed. Now the differential between the two has yet to be explained to me in a way that makes sense. How the simulation speed and the server simulation speed could be different, I don't understand that. It really doesn't make any sense to me. To me, the server is either sending information back and forth or it's not. So your client should always be synced with the server. Now this is I'm going network engineer on you, but the client-server relationship has always been the server is feeding information only as fast as the client can deal with it. So, if that's client simulation speed, then why is it not up where it should be? Clearly we are not at 102, 103, 102 frames a second. I don't know what the UPS actually means. The CPU load and GPU load are total rubbish. They have been for a long time. That's not even close to what my CPU. In fact, if I get off screen here, so just for sake of demonstrate, I know this is really hard to see. So Space Engineers, 16, 15, 16, 14, 16%, okay? Versus the CPU load, which is claimed at 47 to 50%. So I don't know. Yes, this is a Windows product, okay? I happen to be running on Windows 7. Microsoft is Microsoft. But I trust this uh, versus relative CPU horsepower, because this is part of the operating system. That I know that's arbitrary um, but I trust this number, given the performance of the machine. I trust this number more than I trust this number. So I don't feel that number is accurate. Now, what I have experienced for the last couple days is that the um, in fact, let me drag this back off the screen, because I keep this on my screen for a reason, especially when I'm local hosting. So the other interesting thing is that one of my GPUs is so I've said all this before, but this machine is a high-end machine. It's I think a 3.8 gigahertz Core i7 hex core, so it's got 12 effective processors running simultaneously. I have 64 gig of RAM. I've seen the game run that into the ground. I don't know how it does it. If you try and conceptualize 64 gig of RAM and the fact that this game needs that, and eventually it will crash trying to use that much, but clearly there's a obvious memory leak there. And I have dual 1080 Ti's running next to each other. So the fact that Space Engineers, for whatever reason, needs to run at 60-70% of both of them says, I'm not sure what it says. There's part of me that says, okay, it's there, you might as well use it, and I'm fine with that. On the other side of it is when your specifications say this is what you need, when your hardware is so far absurdly beyond the recommended values, then why is the software attempting to utilize those? So, to me, performance should be you stay within this envelope, and then everything above that on your machine is just going to make it run that much better. In this case, it seems to consume all of this hardware power and eventually crashes because I don't know why. So ultimately, we're running at half speed of something. So we're a little bit soupy. I unfortunately cannot get, well, maybe I can. So let's see. Okay, I can. All right, I'm gonna try to do what I set out to do here, which is really to say I'm gonna go in here. There are reactors that are empty. So that's reactor 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And we're going to put in 100 on each of... Whoa. Nope, I can't. Because I'm not really connected to the server, so I can't actually transfer anything anywhere. Which is unfortunate because that's 400. Whoa! My experience over the last couple days has been that the damn it, I don't want to lose 400 uranium. So some functionality is here, but some isn't. Container small top. Oh, that's on the miner, the big miner. Okay, so so strangely, I can turn ISI off. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the nanite control factories and assorted gear off as well. Mostly because I don't want them to be a cause of what's going on here, and they may or may not be. So what I'm hoping is that I will be able to get into the cryo chamber here and then reboot. Unfortunately, I stole the uranium here, but I can't do anything with it because. Alright, so even though number 8 is probably the better one here, yeah, I don't think there's actually gonna be so in some cases, just doing really crazy things, which basically forced, you know, connection things to happen. Has caused some recoveries in the past. You know, severe rubber banding and that sort of thing, but you know, in the end, I think this is going to be screwed. So the only thing I have not tried, which may actually be a decent idea, is to just respawn and see if anything happens. So what I think I will do is get my body basically right here, and then so once all motion is arrested, respawn. We'll see what happens.
Your health is critical.
And of course, because I'm not really connected onto the world, then all right, so clearly that's not working. So I'm going to go completely out just because Space Engineers does strange things. So we'll go back in. And attempt to rejoin the world. So join game, history, Enginerds. So if I go into server details, and we might as well do this, here's some of the different things. So the auto healing is off. It does save every 5 minutes supposedly. Block limits, destructible blocks are on, although I've seen some strange things. So copy paste is off, obviously. Drones are on, encounters are on, but I don't think there's anything that's actually using those. So air tightness is on, remote ship enable, respawn ships is on. So blah blah blah, all these tool shake unfortunately on. I hate that. Voxel destruction is on, wolves are on, but I don't know if they're actually anywhere. So meteors are off, floor density, blocks per player, but block limits is turned off in this case. So even though there's a block limit specified, it's not really there. Max floating objects is one of those interesting things that sometimes that can really cause some performance issues. Permanent death is off. So if permanent death was on, for those of you who don't know what this is, if you have this on in a world and you die and there's nobody else in your faction, then all of the stuff that was owned by you becomes owned by nobody. Procedural density, blah blah blah. Delete respawn ships is off, so even though it gives you the warning, I guess that's off. Time multiplier 1, don't know exactly what that is. Sun rotation interval, I don't know what this is relative to. Thruster damage is on, view distance is 10 kilometers, which is nice. Weapons are on. Welder speed multiplier to world size in kilometers 0, which I think is unlimited. Okay, mods. Let's look at the mods. So beta power transmitters. Okay, so this is the ability to transmit power between grids wirelessly. Ikeisters or Ikeisters, however that's pronounced. So forgive me if that's totally butchered. Part 1 and 2. This is awesome. This has a lot of really neat stuff in it. Conveyor expansion, I use this one myself. Hyperdrive, never used it. Titan engine, I've played with that a while back. Mexpex makes a lot of neat stuff. Now with drills, laser welders, forget your welding problems. Airlock block, I use that one as well. Atmospheric drag and re-entry effects. So this is, I think this is working. Um, automated beam drill. It's a lot of fun. Complete mega mod pack. This mostly works. It's a very large mod pack. It has a lot of really neat stuff in it. So extra power, batteries, everything, good stuff. Awesome models, everything. Battle cannons. So weapons in warfare. Busted ram scoop. I've used this. Drag. I'm not sure what that means. Drag. Camera panning. Remote camera view. Conveyor air vent. Use this. This is a digi thing. Conveyor hinges. Also digi. Directed energy warfare. Basically a bunch of lasers. Energy shields. I've used this as well. So awesome mod. Scythons. I think it's Scython. Example pack, not sure what that is. Industrial centrifuge. I think this is like a replication thing, so you dump uranium in it and it will create uranium for you. Ladders. Laser beam system. Not sure exactly what that is. What I think it says true line of sight weapon. Medical facilities. MexPec Warfare Industries. I highly recommend this. It gives you a very broad spattering of really incredible weapons. They are reasonably powerful. I don't know how to say it. I don't feel them to be overpowered unless you are comparing back to the original vanilla stuff. So anyway, Midspace has a lot of neat stuff. Camera crosshair turret replacement. This is kind of neat. You've actually seen that when I'm doing the backup camera. Midspace is configurable. I've never used this, but my guess is it's a configuration like an INI file that initialization file that you can set whatever speed you want. I have found that gyros and a lot of rotors, pistons. I mean, rotors and pistons are just asking for clang anyway. But what I have noticed is you get over 200 meters per second, and bizarre, strange things happen. Your gyros just go absolutely wonky. So in my personal games, my personal setup, I have changed this to be 200 max. I like 200. 200 works. 100 is a bit slow, but 200 works. So Nanite Control Factory, wonderful thing. OKI weapons. This, I think there's still some bugs in this. I've never played with plasma thrusters. Retractable landing gear is really cool. Rotary airlock, that's also really cool. It's a single block airlock. Awesome model. Sectan's elevator, pretty good. Screen gunk be gone. I'm not sure what this is, but I think this just cleans up all the windows. Why? Okay, space. There is no atmosphere. Why is there crap all over your windows? What the fuck? Okay, not possible. Okay, plus, okay, we're space engineers. We're automatically OCD. We're gonna keep things clean, right? So, anyway, Shastul's catwalks. If you haven't seen these are absolutely freaking awesome. Solar panels, I haven't actually played with these, but hey, really neat. Space just got real. I've ranted about this before. Space is inherently dark. The only light sources that are really significant in space are suns. Okay, and you may be a long ways from a sun. So, not a whole lot of light there. So, Space Just Got Real does add some realism to the game. The problem is Space Engineer does not deal with light sources according to the laws of physics. Okay, light does not just arbitrarily fall off. Okay, light goes until there's something in its way. That's the nature of a wave. Okay, an electromagnetic wave goes. That's what they do. That's why we can see a bazillion stars in the sky, because the light from those suns travels. So, space just got real makes space look more real or more realistic. However, light sources in Space Engineers is not realistic, therefore these two are self-defeating. Tiered thrusters. These are awesome. I've seen these used. I've never actually used them myself. So, thrusters. Nice stuff. Paycas, Tesla utility system. I pledged to you in one of my previous videos, I think the video just previous to this one, that I would research this. Now, what I did find out, NFC, near field communications. So the idea behind this was you get within 10 to 25 meters, these two devices will link up and you can transmit material, cargo, between the two. So I tried to use it. I watched the videos. I tried to use everything according to how it was working, and it did not work for me. So 47. Sorry, I'm writing down the IP address here just because 5531. I might want to set up a ping to see how my communications are to this thing. 65. Oh, I guess we are 865 now. Okay, tractor beam. I have not played with this, but I've seen mixed reviews. The most recent uses of this does not appear to work. So, I don't know. I have not tested it myself, but it did not appear to work as intended. XL Industrial. I haven't played with this yet. It just appears to be very, very large assembler and refinery. Oh, and I think there are, I think the large containers is also part of this. So I haven't actually seen this mod myself, but what I was having trouble with, I tried to actually just for fun paste the XL refinery into the world, and I could not paste it. So for what that's worth. So anyway, that's everything here. We'll go ahead and join the world, provided we can. So I'm going to bring up an auxiliary window here, a run window as a command. I'm going to put that on my other screen here so I can see it. So 47, 200... Oops, that's a 220 rather. Okay, not joining world anymore. Transmit failed, general failure. timeout in milliseconds. Okay, so I can't ping this world, so I'm presuming it claims a ping of 63, but I personally I think that's horseshit. So join world. So forgive me as I go silent. I'm actually going to go to another machine and test my internet connection and be sure my ISP has not gone down, which is entirely possible. Okay, so the good news, the the good news is, my ISP is up. The bad news is, I do not believe this world is up. Either that or something is wrong with Space Engineers, which which may be true. Okay, so my standard mods. So we're gonna shift to a local environment here. So I've used very little other than vanilla stuff. So let me go ahead and go into mods. One of the things I do need to add in here is the official. Where is it here? Is it already here? Oh, it's already there. So the nanite control factory is already there. So theoretically, this. So there's two things: the conveyor expansion mod pack, which I am using a little bit, and then the official upload nanite control factory. So theoretically, the stuff in this in the other world should work here. So I'm going to go ahead and do an OK. Standard mods, and do a load. Now this is going to take a little while. So once again, I'm going to go and refill my tea, and we'll be back with you shortly.
No energy.
Okay, that took a whole lot less time than I was expecting. So here's my little space engineer. Here's Kenty. Kenty is pretending to be a leopard. So, um, so why am I in this ditch, and where am I? So let's go ahead and go up. We'll see. I whoa, there it is. I put a little moon base together, and I built pieces quite a while ago, and I never actually built a base with them. So what I did was built the base. Um, so I this is another of the semi-modular designs. Um, so the landing pad is a module. This centerpiece is a module. This tower, of course, you probably saw this on, well, two of my other builds. I took this, redesigned it. This tower was originally in my UESC 38 build that I had built, and found out I did not qualify. I did not build according to the rules. I built it when I was underway, so I didn't actually know what all the rules were. So I stole the tower and revamped it and put elevators into it. So that's what this thing is. So this is a junction, which was a module, and then I set the tower on top of the junction and put elevators into it. This is VCZ elevators, really cool stuff. Uh, so junction. So we have the landing pad off this side. We have a tunnel off this side, which goes to an airlock. And we have a tunnel going off this side that's actually to the my standard pods. Um, and then we have a processing station here. Now this is vanilla less two things. So Kenti blocks, which are turned on. Oh, three things. Sorry. It uses the OCZ OCD tanks mod. Um, I was gonna redo and take those out, but I ended up not taking those out. That it's actually a really cool mod. Um, well, there are a bazillion mods in here. I can't lie. So this is part of the conveyor expansion mod. This is part of Deep Thoughts. These extended conveyors. These are really cool. Um, so I spawned in this moon. specifically to test this base. So this was the whole idea behind this thing. So this was my test area. So what I'm gonna do, mostly because I don't want to screw this particular thing up, I want to leave it as is. We're gonna call this environment test, and what I'm gonna do here is actually get rid of some stuff. So we'll delete this. I can't unfortunately delete the planets. I kind of wish I could. Marker. Two kilometers. Large antenna. Why is there a large antenna? Oh, okay. Sorry, that was a thing. So moon base. We can delete that one. What I intended to do here is what stuff is actually on the moon, and I didn't know, so I put this is just an ore detector here. So yes, we'll delete that. All right, we'll go ahead and Alt F10. Space Master is turned on here, but we're going to go biggest grids. So this is I don't know what happened there. So first. All right. So we're going to escape out of this. Whoa. So we're going to head towards the marker. Okay, the marker is this is my asteroid. So what I did was use midspace admin helper commands and created a obviously spherical asteroid, and it basically it's a layered asteroid. In fact, let me go ahead and end up here. What is that? Hopefully that's just an asteroid. This one looks like it has a hole in it. And if it does have a hole, maybe that's just a shadow. Yep, just a shadow. So this is a layered oh yeah, that's been happening a lot lately. No, I'm not going to send anything because you guys don't fix shit anyway. Alright. Restart. And continue from the last save. So while this is loading, I'm going to do some stuff on the side. One of the things I have not done recently is download new drivers. So these are GeForce IM 10 series 1080 Ti's. I'm using Windows 64 and all. So I'm going to start search. And it looks like 3.9836, which was released June 26. So we'll go ahead and download those. All right. Wow, this is loading in quickly. All right, so delete this. Delete this. And we had the one grids, and we're going to go ahead and remove that, and then we'll try and do this. Okay, I'm going to do a Shift F5, which will quick save. This should be my test. Gonna already saved. So almost done downloading. Exit to Windows. So one of the things we're gonna do is SE Toolbox. What I'm going to do is delete the moon out of this toolbox, or out of that particular save game. So I put it in there, nice to have it, but it's not something that. Load it. For those of you who haven't actually used the SE Toolbox, I highly recommend it. It gives you a way to get in at a almost system level of your save file and make a lot of changes. You can do things like change the color on a particular highlighted set of blocks. I mean, you can get in and just do all kinds of things. You can put random materials into cargo containers. You can do all kinds of things. So it loads fairly fast. So I know this is just impossible for you guys to see in UHD here, so forgive me for that. I don't really do the video editing. I'm sure most of you have noticed that. This is live, so this is what it is. So everything I say, cursing and swearing, everything is as is live. So anyway, this is planet, a small moon here, and we're going to delete that. And the sphere, the other is this layered asteroid. So you can actually see all the different layers there. So stone, iron, ice, uranium. Then we go to silicon, nickel, magnesium, cobalt, silver, gold, and platinum at the very center. Then we're going to save this, and then we're going to exit, which is really to say we're going to minimize, and then go back into Space Engineers. And if all goes well, an error occurred updating. The app is running. It is not running. We may have to close out this video and oh, there it goes. So one of the things that I frequently have to do, and I don't know if this is just something that happens on my machines or whether this is something that happens on everybody's machine, but I run into problems space engineers especially, where things just do not work anymore. And what I have found is that if I go in onto my C drive, so the main OS drive, even if you put your games out somewhere else, you always have stuff like in your profile that is saved on the C drive. You can't move them. Windows will not function without it. So you have to have some of these things where they are. So what I typically will do is go into security, you bring up your properties, you go into advanced, you go to owner, edit, and then click on your personal user. And then I'm going to do there's a checkbox, replace owner on subcontainers and objects, and then OK. Now, you're going to come up with a lot of errors. I'm going to close out some windows here. You're going to come up with a lot of errors because Windows likes to not give you permission to certain things, and I don't know why that is, but I'm absolutely I am an administrator on this machine. It's my machine, so I really do not understand why you don't have access to everything. Now, understood, for the sanity of the operating system, sometimes it's better to not have users with access to everything, certainly. That's why we have a root user. But because Windows doesn't really have a root, and what I mean by root is for those of you who have ever worked with Unix or Linux, root is root. Okay, there is nothing that root cannot do. And that there's a reason for root, because if you get into things and really screw things up, then having root fix things is really important. All right, so let me where did that go? There it is. So I'm not going to I'll continue game. Continue from last save. To me, there's nothing personally more aggravating than having my operating system tell me you are not authorized to do that. That to me is total horseshit. I should be able to do anything I want, including make my machine commit seppuku. That should be within the realm of what I can do. And if I want to completely destroy my machine and have to reload from scratch, then I should have that choice. Microsoft did not enter into a contract with me, so I don't feel that Microsoft has the right to tell me what I can and cannot do on my machine. All right, so we are back in the world here. We're going to do an Alt F10. We're going to go to biggest grids and see there are no grids, which is a good thing. This is the test. So I'm going to go into F8. I'm going to, so we have Moonbase, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. So Moonbase no longer exists, so we can delete. The marker is the center of the universe here for me. I also run Midspace's admin scripts, so having said that, whoops, let me get back into F6. TP000. What does that mean? Teleport to location XYZ, right? So 000 is the center of the universe. So that puts me within the realm here. You can actually do this within the ships, but 9 times out of 10, your gyros will absolutely go wonky on you because you just exceeded light speed. Um, so, um, anyway, what was the purpose here? So let me go ahead and F5 to save the world. What I really wanted to do is paste in the space. Some blocks are not available. I want to know what those blocks are. I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing anything missing here. So everything appears to be here. Batteries are all here. So I have no idea what blocks it claims are not here. Don't know. That's there. Alright, I have absolutely no clue what it felt. Oh, there it is. The azimuth antenna. Azimuth antenna. So one of the other mods that's loaded in the other world, which is still timing out, by the way, is the tiered thrusters, and I've seen other of my favorite SE YouTubers actually use that mod, and I'm wondering if that would be worth loading in. I really think maybe it would be. In fact, I was going to I was going to do a dual approach in I want to keep this thing like a processing barge. I do want to modify it, but ultimately I do want to I do want to. Wow, we're out of cobalt. I'm gonna have to grab more cobalt. I didn't realize I was out of that. So let me go ahead and save this world. Yeah, so this is reasonably vanilla. There's not a whole lot of stuff that is non-vanilla here. The only real things in this particular build that are not vanilla are the scripts that are running, which are running underneath everything. And even though they're not necessarily part of the world or necessary in the world, it's like ISI, M Masters, LCDs, automatic LCDs, that sort of thing. So the only real mod that this particular build is taking advantage of is the nanite control factories, as well as the enhanced conveyors, or the extended conveyors, which is a Killer Corporation. Don't know who that is, but Killer Corporation. So, having this thing on the outside, so obviously this is the connection point in the asteroid there. So having a look at this in a little more detail, one of the things you notice is, so we've got these refineries that are running back to back here. So it's basically a refinery, the upgrade module slapped onto the back of an upgrade module with another refinery on the other side. What I want to do is actually expand this, so put a gap down the middle, and widen this. So this would become, instead of 6 wide, it would become 7 wide. So that's something that I want to do in the game, and it's going to take some time to do that. Now that I have materials, it's not going to take nearly as much time. So when I was originally building this barge, it took a long time. So the other project, of course, was to get the 7x7 miner working here. So this was to really add in a lot of mining capability. This is more the strip miner, so you go out to the asteroid and completely decimate the asteroid. So that was the idea there. I wish there was a way to transmit that material back, but I could not make that work. So unfortunately, could not figure out how to make that work. The only other possibility is to design the 1500 meter one and then figure out how to transmit back. So I'm not done playing with those things, but so the idea was your miner transmits back to something like the barge here, and continuously mines. So you don't have to stop, you don't have to do anything. Now, granted, this thing I think has 5 large containers in it. So by the time I fill up 5 large containers, you've got a boatload of ore. So this thing has 4 containers on it. So this would, once you hook up, you're going to be refining forever. So, that maybe that's why they did the extra large refinery there. All right, so having looked at this with the goals in mind, so obviously I want to finish this miner, but this miner, it's all about thrusters, and because the thrusters unfortunately need platinum. Let me look at platinum. Are we out of platinum? Uranium, platinum, we have 55 K left. So we're running a little low, but I do have a source of platinum in that world. So, in any case, as you can see, we have a long ways to go. So this is, technically this is flyable. The problem is we have 1 thruster pointed forward. So getting moving, not a problem. We have all directions represented, barely. So we can thrust to starboard really, really well. We can thrust down really well. But we have 1 thruster pointed forward, 3 thrusters down. So this would be a real problem to move it around. It will move. All the gyros are done, I believe. Yeah, all the gyros are done. They're in the front. So the only thing left now. All the batteries are in, but the only thing that's left is the thrusters. So that's going to take a while. That's what makes this particular miner really, really expensive. But it's effective and it's vanilla. I don't think I uploaded this particular one, but I probably should. Alright, so having done all this, let us go ahead and go back out. So we'll go ahead and save this world because there's not really any reason to save. We're going to go back into join game. We're going to go into history. Enginerds claims that this is 66 ping and one person in there. I don't know if that's really the case. I think that's a no. And the ping, now that may or may not be real. There's a lot of ISPs that don't necessarily allow pings, ICMP, to go through, ICMP protocols to go through. So that doesn't really mean anything. So sent 197, received 0. 100% loss, and that's with a 10-second timeout. So apparently not gonna come in there. So let's cancel. Join game. So I put a couple. Enginerds was kind of a neat one. I actually tried this one, so let's look at the server details here. Auto healing is off, modifier. So this is not that big of a deal. Spectator is off. Script or roll is off. AO respawn ships. Remote. Safe environment. Wolves are off. Tool shake is off, thankfully. Sun rotation is on. Spiders is off. Spectator is off. Sun rotation is on. Alright. Block limits. Block limits is off. Weapons are on. Welder speed multipliers too. So let's look at the mods here just for fun. Colt command pack, which is awesome. Solar panels, mech specs, heavy mining drill, which is a neat drill. The airlock block, automated inventory sorting. Don't know what that is. Clear camera screen. Don't know. Clear LCD. Concrete blocks. There's a couple different ones with concrete blocks, curved blocks. Ladder climbable, merge boarding tube. I've played with this, does not work. Admin helper commands. Good stuff. So single player, multiplayer. Anyway, airtight door, sectan, airtight door. Stone crusher, not sure what that is. Might be a converting heaps of stone into gravel. Best used with the concrete mod. VCC doors. So those are kind of neat stuff. Don't know if. Nope, not seeing it here. Was hoping there would be the automatic ore pickup. So ping perfect. This one, obviously, you have a huge inventory, size 100, 52 mods. So let's just for fun, look at this one. Mods, wormhole drilling. It's an abandoned mod. Will be deleted. Better piston, boarding ramp, bunk beds. Seen those. Colt command console pack, awesome. Star Wars weapons, haven't played with those, but I've seen them work. Shield HUD graphics pack, not sure. Oh, yeah. I use that one too. Hacking computer, that's awesome. Full spectrum solar panels, neat stuff. Cockpit immersion pack, haven't played with that one. Hydro reactors, ice to oxyhydro gases, V2. DT mod pack, awesome stuff. 1,000 times hydrogen thruster efficiency. Whoa. 1x1 by Morin merge block. Haven't played with that. Advanced fly module. ID hides. Crew quarters. This is really cool. Armor ramps. I use that myself. Atmospheric thrusters extreme. Automatic ore pickup. What does automatic ore pickup do? It used to be, as you were drilling, you would have a lot of actual ore that would kind of stray and go away. Sorry about that. Would stray and go away. So it would be legitimate ore that you would just need to find. The automatic ore pickup script used to, for sake of better terms, create a little bubble around the front of the drill that would suck in all of that ore, and so you would always take in all of the ore, always. Now, Space Engineers actually incorporated that into shipboard drills. So the small drill and the large drill, that's part of it. It will take in all the ore that it generates out of the voxels. Where it doesn't do that, the only place in Space Engineers that doesn't do that is your hand drill. So you can be drilling and all of that ore will just go in a bazillion different directions and very little of it will actually go into your inventory. It's a pain in the ass. Why? I don't know if that's realism or immersion. I really truly have no idea what the concept behind that was. So anyway, the automatic ore pickup is a script that still runs, except it doesn't affect the shipboard drills anymore because it doesn't have to. It just affects your hand drill. So it picks up everything until your inventory is full, and then it throws it out normally. So azimuth passenger seat. The passenger seats is actually part of the azimuth huge mod pack. Busted ram scoop, which is really cool. Cloaking devices. These are cool, but they don't really do anything. Anything that can sense any of the radars that pick up will still see you. Cockpit LCD and HUD modules, these are not working. I wish they were. These were awesome. They basically created these. Well, apparently there's a script you can run in the background that, and I haven't researched this out, that will make these functional again. What happens is you can see them, but when you actually sit in the cockpit, they disappear, so they're not there anymore. So it's something about the way everything was implemented that it no longer. Door mod. Used to use this one. So double drill radius is a good thing. Energy shields. Energy shields is just awesome. Enhanced cockpit revival. This one is not working anymore, or it wasn't. It was abandoned. Yeah, which it says there. Fixed up version of the now abandoned. Oh, maybe it does work. So maybe this was indeed revived, which really just gives you, it's kind of a modular cockpit kind of a thing, which was neat because it incorporated some LCDs into it. Gravel sifter. Don't know what that is. Boosted resource gain. Resource gain of the original made it nearly useless. I'm guessing this gravel sifter is actually some kind of um, how to trace element extractor, I'm guessing. So gravity collector, which pulls in and collects floating gravity. This was broken. It may not be. It may be working again. I used to use this and it stopped working. It was one of the. This was probably back in 1.6.5 when somewhere in there it broke. Gyroscope, yeah. Gyroscope power upgrade for whoa. Okay, we're gonna collapse out of that. I want to do that quick here to go back to the world. Ladders, yeah. Meow's double-sided modules. 9 more modules for your upgrade. Yeah, nice. Late game, a bit less G. I don't know what that says. Apparently we ran out of. So what I think this actually does is just it adds modules where you can run things back to back, so which is nice. I personally use EEZO's upgrade module, and there's 2 of them out there. There's one that is a tri module, so you basically have a one module that does all 3 functions, or can do all 3 functions, which is say efficiency, speed, and yield. It can do all 3, all in the same module, which is really, really cool. There's also one that is shield upgrade. So it actually has all 4 functions, and it complements the energy shields right here. So Scython's energy shields. So you basically can use that, and it will help you with the shields. So anyway, I use that particular one. Modern beds, cryo chamber. This is really cool. There's a couple of my favorite YouTubers for space engineers that use those. More armor block variants, always a good thing. More catwalks, more conveyors. Nanite control factories. So this may or may not be functional. There's about 3 different versions. There was the original one, there was an updated one, there was a broken one that got fixed, and then there's the official one. So I don't know if this one is actually the one that works. There's been different iterations and different people who have made. Rotor variety, not sure what that is. Sectan lights. Sectan does some really, really cool stuff. LCD textures, I'm guessing that's just a pack to go onto it. Sickle signs, LCDs. So yeah, this is probably just stuff that goes onto LCDs. Small ship doors, never played with that. Tractor beam, have seen that. Transparent displays. So this, I think, is the one that fixes. Where was it? This one. The cockpit LCD and hub models. So I think this one fixes transparent displays. Fixes that one. So I'm not sure, but I think it does. High-tech hangar doors. Haven't played with that one. We have a speed up speed limit, which is not necessarily a good thing. VCZ, multi-floor elevator, and weightless. So what this says is mod removes most of the mass from every component or tool and ingot in the game, thus making atmospheric ships fly better. No more cargo weights, really. I have mixed feelings about that. When before mass was introduced, you could actually do some really neat things. But when mass was introduced, then all of a sudden you had some real difficulties. All of your ships, as they were designed, might have worked fine, and you could overload the hell out of them. And then all of a sudden they didn't work anymore. So mass is real, obviously, but does it affect your immersion in the game? And that's so. This is I haven't seen this particular mod, but that's kind of neat. I really my curiosities are I really kind of want to go into that world. Ping perfect. So it says 54 ping. So there's one person in there supposedly. Don't know if that's true. Or we try Enginerds again. So the other thing that I have actually done on this particular machine is reboot and solved some of these problems. So that may be something that I should probably do. We're at an hour and 35 minutes according to this thing, so maybe that is what I should do, and I can upload the new drivers at the same time for my graphics cards. So maybe that's a good thing to do. So this is Kenty Tiger signing off for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.